Okay, we are back. I'm just waiting for my Unity to boot back up, and we can continue. So I got all those Portal assets installed here, and we just have to get to a scene and we can mess with them here. So I'm gonna go back into. I think I'm gonna go back into our Portal scene and we can play with that. I did have a crash earlier, which I find when I broadcast and I have all these peripherals attached to my MacBook, it does get hot and basically craps out. It doesn't freeze. I mean, it does different things. Sometimes it freezes. Sometimes it just closes everything. And other times it just doesn't respond. So it really just depends on how it's feeling that day, I guess. But that's why I try to minimize the windows we use, like the extra windows here. Alright, so we have to let it collaborate do its thing here, so a couple more minutes. But while that loads, we'll talk a little bit about what we're going to do here. So I enabled, I created Portal scenes that before I was going to actually have them load when you finish the scene. What I'm thinking what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to include them in the existing demo scenes. And then we can do a cool teleport kind of effect using a simple toggle on-off method that realistically is not anything tricky. It's just basically the camera wants to follow the player. It always wants to pivot behind the player based off the offset we set. And so when we have a couple of players in the scene, we can actually toggle on different variances of them. So for instance, if we had two Sullys here we have a me and a Sully, but let's say we had a Sully A and a Sully B. I could set up a script to where it turns off Sully when you walk through a trigger, and then that would enable the second Sully. So then the camera here would be like, all right, now it's looking for the player, and it would move or it would go to the other player that's active in the scene. So it's very similar to the beginning of the scene when you load, where the scene loads, the camera's way up high, and then it zooms down and goes behind our player. We're going to use that same effect going from one place to another. And I'm thinking we can use two different variances or types of material items to do that. So one of the portals we set up will be a teleportation type portal, and the other one will be an environment, like peering into a different environment. And then what I'd also like to do is I'd also like to set up some rifts or some masks so that it's not just a square plane, which is very generic and boring and not that exciting, and obviously not to the quality and expectations we have for releasing this. And so we're going to look at some of the demos that these components that we purchased offer, and then we're going to see how we can work that into the scenes themselves. I think the big thing here is that we want to make sure we don't veer off track of what the core mission is. That is to build out all the sequences in place so we can actually build this out and make sure it functions and runs on an iPhone X. And then on top of that, I'd also like this to run on an iPad generation 6th generation iPad, which isn't the newest one, and I believe it actually has less capacity than my iPhone here. So if we can get it functioning and playable on that, I think that's a win-win for us. So gotta be careful because there's a lot of fluids and a lot of electronics in this small room. It doesn't really mesh. Alright, so we're almost done here. It's just looking for collaborate changes we made. And sorry if I'm ghosting a little bit with the key. I realize now that the green screen, the blue screen here doesn't do as well as a green screen. I think it's a second choice, or really it may just have to do with the minimal amount of lighting I have in this room. I have one lamp there, and then I have a lamp actually behind my monitor that's not really doing much. So for what it is, you know, the webcam does a pretty good job, but it could do better. And obviously, if I think I had a better camera doing this, then it would work better. Alright, good. So it looks like we're loaded here. We got our asset store loading up, so let's go ahead and just open up our scene real quick and let's get back to where we left off there before it crashed on us. So I don't think we lost any changes. I don't think we lost any changes based off of last crash. It's just kind of annoying because the cache does do some stuff that's a little tricky. So, oh, we did. No, we lost a little bit here. So let's see. Let's just open this up again. And scene objects, portals. Yeah, so we don't need that. Remember that. We can ditch this. We can actually pull this out, ditch that. And this is going to be portal mini marker. I thought I saved this, but I guess I didn't. So this is going to be portal icon marker. And basically one is for the minimap and one is for the game. And then also what I did last time was I just changed this to a portal. And of course this may or may not be something we keep, but for now I'm just going to have it there so until we get the real thing in place. Okay, I'll save that out. Alright, looks like it's saved that time. And let's just so in this scene what I want to do is to kind of explain this so first thing what I'll do is I'll ditch Mia. Actually what I'll do is I'll duplicate our Sully here, bring him up where he needs to be. This is going to be Sully B and this is Sully A, right? That's our first guy. And then let's figure out where they're placed. So this will make sense in a second once you get a feel for this teleportation effect here. So this is our first Sully. Our second Sully needs to be far away so we can't see him. And I'm just going to see if I can... The problem is if you look up in AR space, you're going to see something floating there. So I'm wondering if I have to create a second camera and then also filter out. No, I can't do that. Let's just see how this works. So in past when I've done like teleport kind of stuff, you can use the tags and the mask to actually hide stuff. Similar to what we're doing in the mini-map with layers. But it's going to be a little bit different this one. So we'll just leave Sully floating in space there. And he will fall if we play this. Just because he needs a ground plane to land on. So I'll show you what I have in mind and then we can figure out how to do this teleport effect. And then essentially we're going to try to put 2 portals in this scene. And if this works, then we'll use this for everything. I don't know why this is telling me to pull something. I don't like that. Does it get scared when I see this orange? There's only one other guy that would be... I don't want to update that. Alright. I'm not sure what's going on here. Why it's saying I should sync that down, because I don't want to do that. Unity could improve this. It's good. I definitely got to have it, but it's not. It's a little quirky. And for the price I pay per month for it, I'd expect it to do a little bit better. I don't know what it's Alright, before I start, I want to make sure that I want to make sure I get rid of these here. I'm just gonna see what happens when I do this. Alright. Maybe it crashed when it was updating or something. Sorry, this is the kind of stuff I don't want to waste anybody's time watching this on. So, I don't know if I can actually change the scene while it's syncing. Let's just try it. So, this is our portal scene here, and you'll see what I mean in a second. So, I made this a separate scene, but you can see we have a smaller version of our palm with a cool beanstalk here, and we have Sully here, and essentially what Sully is going to do is we're going to have Sully on this level, and when he walks through a portal down there, it's going to teleport him up here. And so I guess the beanstalk itself was something, a way for me to say how you could climb to the second level in the Sky Island one. But I think maybe we'll do a variance of both, and you can see that's an old. We have a really. This is why I ended up buying those portals, man, because this thing is just not cutting it. It's a free one I got, and obviously the performance here needs to be improved, and we'll work on all that. We will probably ditch a lot of these particles because they are taking up a lot of memory here. Along with, we don't need a lot of this stuff here. But the scene itself, also, this is disabled, but we do have a second level here, which is good. I almost just think, though, it should be on the same ground level. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to say, I'm going to copy this, edit, copy, and then I'll open up our other scene again. I don't know why this is syncing, though. It's freaking... scares me. Not great. Hopefully this isn't too long. I think this is just because it crashed and it's just aligning the two different things. And when I opened it up, it's comparing the cache. So if we go backwards, so be it. I don't think it would go backwards past 15 minutes ago. So, just talking about while this does this, I'll talk about a little about the variant, like the stages here. All right, so the way I have this set up is I have a 6-stage demo storyline sequence here that allows you to go through a few of the levels we've created. And how I originally had it was I had the loading scene, the main scene, and then a bridge scene, which is the portal scene. But I actually think the bridge scene will be a part of this, and that way it doesn't load in between scenes. I'm not really sure yet what I'm going to do there. I'm going to figure that out because I don't want to create any more assets that has to run. It's already pretty heavy. So let's just let this sync and then we'll try this and see what happens. I mean, we could have it load. So one thing I did forget is we need another loading scene in between the main and the bridge. I don't know why I didn't think of that, because that's definitely going to crash at some point. But essentially, here's how it works. So in the Palm Beach loading, you have to find some seeds, and then that's going to craft a beanstalk, which is allow you to climb to the Sky Island. In the Sky Island, you're going to find some oxygen, some rare metal. You're going to craft a deep sea mask. That's going to allow you to get down to the deep sea. In the deep sea, you're going to find some dino bones, and with that, you're going to be able to get a T-Rex tooth. You're going to take that T-Rex tooth, which is going to get you. It's going to tell you at what time in the world, the Jurassic era, right? You need to go back into to find something. That's going to get you to the Jurassic era, where you're going to find a dino egg, which you're going to extract genetics from that. And then with those genetics, you're going to go to Winter Valley and use the lab there to extract ancient symbols that's going to help you, that's going to show you how to reveal the lava chamber. And then you have to use the rare symbols to actually pass the traps in the lava chamber to get to the relic. And essentially that's the demo sequence that I've set up here. And I've aligned it to where the themes in the environments themselves, there's a lot of you start at ground level, then you go up in the sky, then you go deep sea, and then you go back in time, then you're going to go forward in time, and then you're going to find a relic. So it's a lot of cool adventure themed stuff I've tried to build into the demo here. And these portals, assuming they work and function appropriately with the gameplay, is really going to give you a look into where you're going next, and I think people are going to appreciate that and find it entertaining. And then the crafting itself, and then a lot of the other stuff that eventually we'll build in will be a part of that, though. But the crafting is going to be relatively minimal. Not the 300 items we created, we're only using probably 5 or 6 of those within this demo scene. And we're not even using the map, the geomap. And the reason why the geomap is working, but I need to make sure it's functioning appropriately before I build that out and start sharing that with people. And we're a little bit of ways from there, but we are in a good place to actually share all this demo stuff. On top of the whole demo sequence I talked about, we can build in a number of opportunities to push ads in this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like probably about a dozen places. And if somebody plays through the whole thing and we show about a dozen ads, you're looking at about $10 a head. I don't know, maybe not that much, $5 to $10 a head that plays this. And so if you can get, a couple 100,000 people to play this, you got some serious cash there. And that's just the demo release. So that's the monetization aspect of it, and that's not even including the asset store where we will offer credits there. And it's also not including the gain more coins thing, which is there's a lot of apps out there that use third-party components to generate additional currency values that you can use. So I may or may not include that. I think I'm trying to simplify my goal here in getting this released so people can actually get their hands on it, because the biggest feedback that I've received is people want to play it and they want to judge it firsthand, which makes sense. And for people to invest in it, they want to see what it's like. Probably steal some of the ideas like everybody else. But yeah, so this is almost done. Let's see what happens here. Cleaning up. I saw cleaning up in there real quick. Oh, come on, what the hell? No, it has to update everything. Alright, well, I'm going to stop the stream and I'll start over when it's done. No good. At least that's what my mama said, yeah.